Caden Story, the Auburn decommit, is going to be part of this weekend. And folks, if you want a full rundown of who's going to be involved in this recruiting weekend coming up, we shot a video with Jason last week, but also get on over to allclemson.com and check out his article profiling all the players that are showing up in Clemson, South Carolina this weekend. But a decommit from Auburn.
Yeah, this is a big recruiting weekend for Clemson coming up in the 2022 class. They got to, like we talked about last week, several targets. They got 5 guys total coming this week. Running back Andrew Paul, linebacker Kobe McLeod, safety Colin Griffin, and, the addition to the group since we talked last was defensive tackle Caden Story. There's one more, too, that's slipping my mind that's supposed to be there this weekend, and I can't remember off the top of my head. But, since we talked last, Caden Story's now on the docket to visit this weekend. Been committed to Auburn since August. Big part of this is Nick Eason. He's got a very strong relationship with Nick Eason. And when Nick Eason left Auburn to come to Clemson, that kind of got the wheels started spinning on maybe Story following Eason to Clemson. Clemson does not like to host guys on official visits that are committed to other schools, so he was going to have to decommit before he came this weekend. The decommitment came Sunday night. And I'm not sure that they've even officially announced that they're coming this weekend, but I fully expect that visit to happen. They were still trying to work out the final details, as of yesterday. And this is a guy, this is a position of need for Clemson. They only signed 1 defensive tackle last class. They have none committed in this class currently. But, which getting Tyler Davis back for this coming season kind of softens that need a little bit. But if you can get a blue chip guy in this class, that's just one less you have to sign in 2023. And this guy's going to have a year's worth of experience on those guys. Because Clemson's going to lose a lot off that defensive line after next season. They're going to be young and inexperienced, and what they do in 2023 is going to dictate of how much success they have going forward. But big, I think Caden Story's one of the biggest developments here in the last few weeks for Clemson recruiting. I get questions all the time asking me what in the world's Clemson doing at defensive tackle in this recruiting cycle, because they were all in on Travis Shaw, and he commits to North Carolina over the summer. And since then, there's been no real, I don't even know how to put it into words, but it's just kind of Clemson's not really zeroed in on one guy or another. They really haven't done a whole lot when it comes to defensive tackles. It almost feels like they were content to wait until the next cycle. But here we are. It kind of worked out for the best. Eason coming over gives them the opportunity to, kind of add Story to the class. And I think that's what will eventually happen. I think Story will end up being a part of the class. Big win for Clemson. Big win for Nick Eason. He's been on the job less than a month. And what I'm about to say, I'm not knocking Todd Bates in any way, because he's known as one of the nation's best recruiters. But the fact is, in Eason's first job on the month, he's going to have signed as many defensive tackles as Bates did in the last 2 classes.
Those are the facts. There you go. And Caden Story, just to get everybody caught up on his numbers here, according to 247 Sports Composite, he's the 28th rated defensive lineman in the country. He's the 12th rated player in the state of Alabama, and he's number 222 nationally at 6'3", 282. And again, he's out of Alabama.
Yeah, Clemson hasn't had a lot of success recruiting defense, highly touted defensive players out of the state of Alabama. And, obviously nobody else does either, really. Alabama and Auburn, for that matter, kind of had their pick of the litter out there. And Clemson's just not had a lot of success plucking defensive guys out of that state. So it's good. It'll be good to finally see them get one if, in fact, they can, close the deal and land Story here for later on, signing day coming up in February.